The Xbox Drive is powered by patrons at patreon.com/YumiCapri. And I want to thank our Diamond executive producers, Slimer Snarf, Jonathan Brown, and Lee Navarro. Our gold members, Xavier Reyes, Tabitha Carroll, Becky Grockmall, Ashley Nicholson, Argo, Gene K, Marcus O'Neill, Ray Sony Pony Martinez, Trucker Sloth, Zach Bradshaw, Skinny Matt, and James Johnson. If you'd like to support the show, go to patreon.com/YumiCapri. Hey everyone, it's me, Sean Capri. I'm in my car and you're listening to the most horsepowerful podcast on the internet. It's the Xbox Drive. I'm on a Skype call with my friend Ryan Turford. He's the man on the moose and on our journey today. Halo's coming next year and that's okay with me, so jump on into the Xbox Drive. It kind of sounds like a gun now, bro.
Greater than X.
Hello, Sean Capri.
Kind of turned it into almost like a Tommy gun, like brrr, like I actually did. This is where you need to see the video because I should be having my hands on the wheel and I've got two hands looking like a Tommy gun, like brrr.
I mean, it's fine. It's not like you're driving while you're recording this podcast, right, Sean? So I mean,
the thing is,
good.
look, man, it's okay because we're in total lockdown right now. There's nobody on the streets. There's no kids running around. It's totally safe to just be a little silly. It's basically the end of the world. It's the apocalypse. So the rules of the road don't necessarily apply. Disclaimer, the rules of the road absolutely apply. That was a joke. How are you?
Exactly.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I mean, for those listening at home, and I could definitely tell it's coming up on the recording, someone decided that before we started recording that they really wanted to jackhammer something outside my apartment. So, yes, you'll probably hear that on the recording. I could already see a Audacity spiking every time the jackhammer goes off. So this is already we're already off to a great start.
Good start. Well, people tune in for no road noise or anything external at all. That's the whole. It's part of the show, man. It's part of the charm. Funny thing is, we often hear like police sirens and stuff. Those aren't police cars driving by me. They're driving outside of your apartment.
I was just gonna say they're always driving by my place as well. So yeah, it's just one of those things, living in the big city. That's what you do.
That's true.
Of course, though, this isn't a big city podcast. This is an Xbox podcast. So we should probably get to some Xbox stuff. We're going to start by cleaning the garage a little bit real quick. So, of course, we wanted to throw out a quick reminder. We gave away our 1 year of Game Pass last week to Cameron Shire, I believe the correct pronunciation that I landed on. But we still have another year to give away. Once we hit 500 subscribers, we'll be giving away that second prize. So if you are still interested in that prize, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/the Xbox Drive. And again, once we hit 500 subscribers, we'll hold another drawing, and it could be you, the person that's watching this right now that I'm pointing my finger at the camera. It could be you, the person who's watching this, that may win. Who knows? So that's what's coming up on the docket. But also, Sean, tomorrow or tonight, by the time you're listening to this, Thursday, the Game Awards are happening tonight, Sean. And of course, earlier in the week, we put up our predictions for all the awards because we went through like most of the categories and kind of predicted who we think is going to win each one. But we're going to go a bit further than that because neither of us kind of were thinking of the idea of streaming the award show. But Xbox this morning threw a little tidbit in an article that we're going to talk about a little bit later in breaking news about how there's going to be a few surprises at the Game Awards. So we wanted to actually live stream the event. So that's what we're going to be doing. So tonight, the night that you're listening to this, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It starts at a weird time this year for whatever reason. 6:30 in time for the pre-show. We will be live streaming the Game Awards over at youtube.com/the Xbox Drive. It might be me at first before Sean gets there, but we'll both be there watching the awards along with you. So we hope that you'll come there and join us and come watch along with us. And I think it'll be a fun show this year, Sean.
We better not be disappointed, Ryan. This is a whole lot of back and forth you and I have gone on. We were going to just kind of have a chill, maybe just watch it while hanging out on the Discord. But they dropped this little tidbit this morning, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to miss this. Because you know what's going to happen, Ryan? They're gonna announce Cyberpunk 2077 is now included in Game Pass. Can you imagine? I can't. I am not going to miss the opportunity. The Game Pass account
was teasing something today for the Game Awards.
I'm telling you, man. I feel it in my balls, man. I feel it. It's gonna.
But why would they do that the day the game comes out?
I don't know. I have no idea. Why would they do anything?
I'm still banking on the idea that one of the announcements is Final Fantasy VII Remake is coming to Xbox and Game Pass the same day.
I could really, that is way more reasonable. If it was going to happen, they absolutely should have been pre-promoting this whole thing. But who knows, man? I'm not sure. But that would be incredible. Whatever it is, I just want to celebrate it with you live on the internet with all of our friends. So yeah, youtube.com/the Xbox Drive. And I can't wait. It's going to be a long 4 hours. So bring your drinks and get comfy. But it's going to be a good night, man.
Make sure you wear suits like Sean and I are going to do. By the way, we're probably not going to wear suits.
Probably not going to wear suits. No, I don't fit in my suits anymore.
Sean, let's grab our 8 tracks, pop them in. It's time for the playlist. And we got some games to talk about this week. I mean, lots of games, believe it or not, came out in the month of December, which is bizarre because this usually never happens. But I think just with the timing of the pandemic, it kind of shifted everything a little bit further back. So we got a lot of December releases this week. So I have lots of games to talk about. But Sean, I'm going to start with you since I sense a McDonald's trip is probably approaching. What did you play this week?
I played the crap out of NHL 94 Rewind. Is that the title of it? Is that actually what it's called? 94 Rewind?
It's in Game Pass.
Because it's in Game Pass. You and I talked about this a little while ago. It was like this mod, or not a mod, it was a mode included with NHL 21. And I was like, oh, shoot, man, I'd like to buy that on its own. And then sure enough, it just kind of like seems like it's stealth launched into Game Pass. And I played a little bit of it on stream last night. And then I might have stayed up until about 2 o'clock in the morning playing more of this game, getting as many of the achievements as I could get. I was also able to cheese it's kind of like a save system, but not really. If you quit a game before you lose it, it'll just let you restart the game. So one of the achievements is like win the Stanley Cup. So I kept losing to the Pittsburgh Penguins as the Edmonton Oilers, of course. And I was just like, oh, it's not going to be this one. So I'd quit, and I wouldn't have to restart my whole playoff thing. I eventually won the Stanley Cup. Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and the crew. They all were victors. I got a bunch of achievement points. What a great game, dude. I feel very silly that I've got my shiny new Xbox Series X, and I am playing ostensibly a Super Nintendo game. But my God, man, it feels so perfect, and it's great. And you've talked a lot about it, so I played that. And I really like it.
It's so good. And that was the closest the Edmonton Oilers will get to winning the Stanley Cup again, Sean. So there you go.
Pretty much. Yeah, thanks for that. They could have, they had a good chance this year, and then the bubble and everything messed up. Anyways,
I joke but they're actually much closer than like many other Canadian teams are.
They got a real good, they got the guy, the Connor McDavid, McJesus, as we used to call him. I played that. I played a little bit of a game called Haven, which we talked about last week as it has come into Game Pass. Haven is made by the Game Bakers, which has become one of my favorite indie developers. They made Fury, and Haven is a totally different game from Fury, and I'm only a couple hours into it, but I am enthralled with it, man. I do need to be in a particular mood. It's very chill, but you are two, I guess, like spacefaring individuals who are romantically in love with each other. It's a very touching story, and they are trapped on a new planet. They seem to be escaping some sort of organization or force, and they're trapped on this island. They've got to make their new life for themselves. They've got challenges to overcome, and you're wandering around this planet in a very interesting way. I have to say the art style has me captivated. The music is perfect, just like in Fury, but perfect for that game, and I want to dive into it a little bit more, but I really like this, man. Both these games are definitely palate cleansers from a lot of the heavy experiences that we've been in, but a light experience. This is not a boss rush like Fury was. Very, very cool, man, and both games, perfect for Game Pass. Like, Donnie Reese from the Xbox Drive has been talking a lot about how, a lot of focus goes on, like, the heavy hitters, and they should, like, all the first-party and the big third-party games are coming to Game Pass. But it's like, for $15 a month, man, these smaller things are absolutely worth it. Even if the only thing that I played this month was NHL 94 Rewind, worth it. If the only thing I played was Haven, worth it. So, shout out to Game Pass, man. It's bringing the business this month.
Yeah, for sure. And Haven was a game that, again, I talked about it a little bit last week, but I played it during the demo showcase and really liked it. So,
I want to play more.
I'm eager to get to that one at some point.
It's really good. Yeah, man. How about you? Yeah. I think that's it for me. I don't think we also did Halo on Saturday night, of course. We had our Halo. Fun. Dude, we had, like, damn near maximum capacity on Halo Nights.
We were one spot short.
We're going to have to set up an RSVP
could have been Tony
system.
Baker or Joel, a.k.a. Falcon.
That's right.
But they missed it. They missed their chance.
They missed it. Well, this is the thing. We're gonna have to create a queue system of some sort. We gotta.
Oh God.
It's got a big crowd, man. It's really great. So if you guys want to join in on Halo Madness with us on Saturday nights, make sure that you have Halo 2, Halo 2 Anniversary, and Halo 3 installed. And it's crossplay. You can play from PC. And I'm gonna get something from McDonald's. What do you need?
I'm good.
You're good. Oh, hi there. Can I please get a large decaf with 2 Splenda and a large Diet Coke? And do you have any Looney Tunes toys?
Yes.
Which ones do you have?
Let me check.
She's gonna. Which ones do you think? Dude, I just got like a Babs Bunny yesterday.
It's probably a Sylvester and a Tweety, I'm guessing.
Roadrunner.
The Lola Bunny, and that's all.
What was the second one? Sorry.
Lola Bunny.
Lola Bunny. I think I've got that one. That's okay. That'll be all. That's everything. Thank you. Just the drinks. No toys, but you can round it up for Ronald McDonald House, please.
Okay, next video.
Thank you.
Man.
That sounds really generous. It was like 13 cents.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, like for those that don't know, the compelling saga of the Looney Tunes toys, Sean almost has a complete collection
getting there, man.
of the Looney Tunes toys from McDonald's. Getting close.
I'm getting there.
You got the Lola Bunny.
I don't know who's Lola. Wasn't that like Tiny Toons?
No, that's
who's
Babs Bunny.
Babs Bunny? Who the hell? I don't remember Lola at all. But I was man.
Lola I think she was the bunny from Space Jam, the female bunny from Space Jam. But I could be wrong.
You're absolutely
I don't know
right.
enough
You're
about
right
Looney
because I
Tunes.
did get it. And I couldn't quite place her. I'm like, this looks like a Tiny Toons, but why would they do Tiny Toons with Looney Tunes? I wasn't really sure. Hi there. That's me. Anyway, you go ahead.
All right. So as for me, I played a whole bunch of games this week. So of course, this should help pad the time out while Sean gets his bearings from his McDonald's trip.
Don't just pad time. Tell us useful stuff. You got good stuff to talk about. Don't sell yourself short.
I mean, I played a lot of games this week, so I should probably get into it. So first off, I played Habrxia, which is a pixel art side-scrolling shoot 'em game from Lily Mo Studios. It's a very small game. A ton of fun though. It was 18 levels. It's not too long, but it's not too short. Shoot 'em up games, I'm always kind of the person that has to be in the mood for shoot 'em up games. And this one was very accessible and very approachable because a lot of shoot 'em up games also have crushing difficulty to them. You go play a game like Life Force or R-Type or
Cinemora was a recent one.
Yeah, exactly. All those games are super
bullet
hard.
hells. They're bullet hells.
Yeah, exactly. But this game was not too difficult. So if you like shoot 'em up games, but you don't want something that's super difficult, I think it's pretty cheap. I think it's $10, and it was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed it.
Did you say you finished it?
Yeah, it's only 18 levels. It took about 3 hours to finish it.
That's perfect. That's actually perfect. I would love for that game to come to Game Pass, but I'm glad you got your hands on it, man. It looked really cool. I love that style of game.
What was cool about it too is it's not just the 18 levels in the game for all the content. You also have a bunch of other modes that you unlock as you play the game. There's a boss rush mode, there's a time trial mode, there's a mode where you have to rescue a bunch of astronauts. So there's a lot of content there.
Nice.
For the price tag. So, but yeah, it's got some great music, good visuals, and a lot of fun if you like shmups that are not too difficult, or if you want to get into shmups and you don't know where to start. I think it's actually a pretty good starting point for people that are new to the genre, because again, those games can be really difficult. Next up, Marvel's Avengers, a game that I haven't played in a long while, but I played it this week because the Kate Bishop DLC actually launched this week, called Taking Aim, where you actually unlock her as a hero. But then there's a whole extra section of the campaign that's tacked on after the campaign is over, where you recruit Kate, but then kind of learn about what she's been doing, and kind of hinting at some things to come. Of course, they've talked about it a little bit, but obviously it kind of leads into the next DLC that's coming with Hawkeye. Because, of course, Kate's Hawkeye's apprentice, essentially. And it also hints at other future events that I won't spoil for anyone who's actually interested in checking it out. But yeah, man, it was cool to actually revisit the game. Kate as a character is probably my favorite character out of all the characters. I've only played with her for a day, and I could already tell that she's the type of character I like to play as, because she's a very nimble character that also focuses a lot on bow attacks, as well as the ability to teleport, because she can teleport over short distances.
Yeah, Nightcrawler kind of a thing, like a blink kind of a thing.
And her melee attack is she pulls out the sword, and it's just it's super cool.
yeah,
So
that
you're
is
alternating
Ryan.
between these sword attacks and bow attacks and these teleports, and you can do some really like cool stuff with that.
Do we need to
character.
play this game together, Ryan? Like, there's a couple games, and we'll, I don't know if we're going to talk about Destiny, but Destiny just launched its Series X update, and I am excited to jump into that. I'd love to play that with you. But I also have Marvel's Avengers. I haven't played any of it. Is there a way for us to do this together, or do you have any interest in that, like bringing people along? You can say no.
Absolutely, that's something we could play together. Because
Yeah.
I mean, anyone can, like, even if you haven't beaten the campaign, you can still play with someone like me who has a max level Black Widow, for example.
Yeah.
But I have other heroes that are very low ranked. Like I've barely touched Captain America. Like he's probably like level 20. And it's pretty quick to get to level 1. Like I mean, that means I basically played with them for like an hour.
Can I say something about this Marvel's Avengers game that is just occurring to me now, which is requiring me to interrupt you, and I'm sorry about that. But here's the deal: I've heard that Square Enix had a very rough year solely because of the catastrophe of sales that was this game, and otherwise it would have had a great year because Final Fantasy VII Remake did really well for them. Anyway, the thing that I think has people not buying this game is its lack of waifus in a Western world game. The sexiness level of these characters, men and women, not so great. Like, why isn't Hawkeye or Captain America? Why aren't they like heartthrobs, man? Why can't we just like, or Thor? Like, they're not good looking. Like, I just don't think.
I mean, Hulk's got his shirt off the whole time, and you don't even feel that way about him.
Not really. It's just kind of like, I guess, like, why can't they just like amp it up a little bit? This is the Square Enix. These are the Final Fantasy people. These are the Lara Croft people. They know sex appeal.
You say this as if they didn't move away from that with the Tomb Raider series, John.
That's well, I mean, I don't know. Like realistic, but I don't know. It's a weird thing to talk about.
But that's what this is. It's
but
realistic characters.
I think overall the characters are plain, and I just feel like people would be more like choose your character because there's something either visually or as odd as it is. Like sometimes people have like a weird attraction to these plastic or not even plastic these digital characters, but.
But even something like Marvel Ultimate Alliance, I think succeeds better at it because you just have a wider array of characters to work with. Because with the initial roster, the first 6, like if you didn't really gravitate towards any of them, like the closest one I did was Black Widow, but for the most part, like I didn't really gravitate towards any of them. But until Kate Bishop came out, and I'm like, yes, I'm all in on this character because Hawkeye was actually my favorite character in the Marvel universe growing up, which it makes sense when you think about me as a person, because I'm not really someone that's into superheroes, and like Hawkeye is like the furthest thing from a superhero. So
right,
it in a way it kind of makes sense.
Well, in Ultimate Alliance, I think they were visually appealing. I want to dig myself out of this creepy hole I've dug myself into. It's got to be one or the other, if not both. I think in Ultimate Alliance, they looked like great comic book characters. In Ultimate Alliance, in Marvel's Avengers, neither visually nor sexually appealing.
Right.
And for the people on the video, I just turned the camera around, and hopefully you saw the cop car that just drove by me. I just wanted to point that out to people.
My God. I mean, they'll see it in full frame if it makes you feel
maybe.
But yeah, so Marvel's Avengers, again, just to kind of segue away from it, I think that the DLC was pretty fun.
Yeah.
However, obviously, the mission structure is still the same. So, I mean, if you've already played the mission structure to death, you know, this isn't going to change your mind. But
I want to play it, man. I really do. I love these characters. I think it's time. I think we need to do this.
Actually, Sean, I think you would actually really like the campaign.
I think I would too.
Like the single player campaign, because the single player campaign, you can't play with someone else. You can only play the Avengers Initiative, which is all of the post-game content, essentially. But yeah, I mean, you can play it from the start if you want to.
Maybe I'll play it while we do the Game Awards tomorrow. I got to multitask, man. I got to figure out how to do this.
But the campaign's pretty fun for that game.
That's cool.
Kate
is a plain-ass name, though. That's kind of like where I'm really going with this. It's like, what the hell kind of name is that? Who's Kate?
You can blame Marvel for that. That's not the game's fault. That's just
I know. Thanks, Stanley.
Next up, I played Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 this week, Sean.
Oh my gosh.
Which was the surprise game launch of the week. It's not really a surprise because we've known that this has been coming out for a while.
Right.
Which is a lot of fun. I mean, I really liked the first Puyo Puyo Tetris. This game in particular doesn't really do too much different if you didn't play the first one.
Right.
But obviously, the Puyo Puyo Tetris, what was interesting about it on Xbox specifically is you could never buy that game digitally. They had a very limited physical release of it in Japan only. So unless you imported it, there's no way to get an Xbox One version of that game.
Right.
Essentially. So when that was what was exciting about Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 was that we were finally going to get a version that anyone could pick up, because I had picked it up on Switch because I couldn't buy it on Xbox here in North America. And I've been having fun with it. Again, the campaign is very out there.
Yeah.
I mean, as it was in the first game, it's very goofy. You've got some charming characters in there. But it's a lot of the same characters from the first game, and then the gameplay is pretty much the same as the first game. So
you end up just playing Tetris more than anything.
Yeah. Or I mean, you can play Puyo, but
Yeah.
I'm less of a fan of Puyo than I am
Same.
of Tetris.
I think it's interesting. I think it's good there to like mix it up so you're not just like playing Tetris, I guess. If you ever want to have a shake up, then it's good for that. But like it's kind of interesting too because we also have Tetris Effect connected on Game Pass now. So a lot of Tetris options.
Exactly. And yeah, so I think that if you picked up the first game at all, you probably don't need to pick up the second one. But if you are Xbox only and you're interested in Puyo Puyo or Tetris or Puyo Puyo Tetris, I think you should check that out because it actually is a pretty fun game.
It's fun, yeah.
And last thing before we move on to breaking news, and I'm going to talk about this very briefly because I put in very brief time into it. You alluded to it before. Destiny 2, 60 frames per second
Oh my
at 4K. Holy crap, with an FOV slider. Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Like this game is really fun. I mean, I actually started a brand new character.
Yes.
Because I famously played this game on PlayStation, and I didn't actually import any of my characters from PlayStation. I haven't done that yet. I probably will at some point, because, I mean, that would just mean reinstalling it on PS4 at this point. But, yeah, I mean, so far, so good. I mean, I started basically the Beyond Light content at the beginning on Europa. I'm maybe an hour into it, but I had a good time playing it yesterday. Unfortunately, like I said, it just came out yesterday, and I was mostly playing Avengers, so I didn't really get to sink too much time into it. But it is something I am intending on playing at some point. I do definitely want to play through the Beyond Light campaign. So at least that's like one of my goals.
That's generally what I do. This last couple of months, I got into a little bit more of like trying to get towards like kind of end game type of stuff. I still haven't done a raid. I would love to be able to do that. And I'm definitely finding myself wanting to play more on my Series X than my PC these days. So that's perfect. It's perfect timing. Why not play this where it's on Game Pass? All the expansions are included for Destiny. I think that's a huge deal. Totally undersold. So I feel like it's just, why would you play it anywhere else? Like, why would you buy the expansion passes separately when you just do Game Pass and it's included with everything else that we talk about?
Yeah, because actually I know a friend in real life who bought a PS5 but not an Xbox Series X, but he has an Xbox One X, and he had switched over to Xbox when Destiny came to Game Pass because he's like, oh, I'll just play all the expansions here. But he's like, man, I really want to play this on my PS5 with the new patch. So, but that means I got to buy Beyond Light for like
so dumb.
$40.
So dumb. Just
Canadian.
play it on Xbox, man.
Yeah,
it's fun over here.
Mean, you know, it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But anyways, Sean, let's land the brakes on this conversation.
Right.
It's time for some breaking news, and we got a lot of news this week, so we should probably just jump right into it. First on the docket, and this one just came kind of out of nowhere this morning from Microsoft. They actually posted a 2021 roadmap article that provides a little bit of info about some upcoming things. And I'm going to summarize some of it here. Obviously, if you want to go read the whole article, I did link it in the show notes as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, we don't have time to go through everything in here. But first off, 40% of Xbox Series S owners are new to the Xbox brand completely. Like, they didn't have Xbox accounts before or have answered surveys saying, I never owned an Xbox before. This is my first one, which is super cool to see. Xbox Game Pass streaming will be coming to PC and iOS in spring of 2021.
That's
so
huge.
we finally have a date on that.
By
no
web
word
browser on
smart
both,
TVs.
which is really interesting. That they're going to do the same solution for PC as iOS. I think that's really clean.
Yeah. They didn't announce anything about smart TVs. We know that smart TV support is coming, but we just don't know when.
Could be at the Game
happening.
Awards. That could absolutely be tonight at the Game Awards, where they announce some sort of like TV app or something like that. Where like last year they did the console, and this year maybe it's the TV thing. For
sure. Also, Australia, Japan, Brazil, and Mexico are joining the streaming program in spring of 2021. So getting more countries on board with Game Pass streaming. In fact, again, I think we mentioned it a few weeks ago on the show, or a few months ago. Japan just joined Game Pass like a couple months ago, and now they're finally getting game streaming. So I think that's one of the territories where I think Game Pass streaming in particular is going to be like really huge in.
Yeah.
Because people in Japan love to play games like streaming or just on the go on their phones.
All 4 million of them, right?
Yeah.
All 4 million people in Japan.
So I think that I'm just shaking my head at you while you say that. But But yeah, so that those are kind of the highlights from that article. They also talked about some of the confirmed launches for 2021, which are all games that we kind of already knew were 2021 release dates. Interestingly enough, I saw Scarlet Nexus on that list because we hadn't had a release window for Scarlet Nexus yet. But that looks like it's coming next year.
Was it the same devs as Code Vein, Ryan?
No, it's a weird mix of amalgamation
Just
of
Bandai Namco.
people. It's actually a lot of people who worked on the Tales series.
Okay.
The Tales of series.
I think I'm coming around on that one. I think I kind of like pointed fun a little bit of like, oh, it's kind of like another anime game, but I think I might be kind of getting interested in that one.
I mean, it looks like Astral Chain, and I'm so excited to play that game. It looks awesome. But yeah, so again, go look at the article that's in the show notes. Again, there's a lot more information in there, but these were kind of the big points from it. It's mostly them going over a lot of like intricate numbers.
Didn't they say Game Pass doubled in November or something like that?
They said Game Pass interaction doubled.
Yeah, I mean, I get where they're going with some of this stuff.
November of last year.
Sure, yeah. It's like, what the hell does that mean? You know, like it's good. Yeah. Like it seems like things are going in the right direction, but it's like now you're just kind of making up numbers and making up.
Well, that's why I like the Series S number. I thought that one was really interesting because like that's cool to see like so many people who are not. Like the whole vision of the Series S was to bring people into the ecosystem that wouldn't buy an Xbox otherwise, and this was kind of proof of that. So yeah, I thought all that stuff was pretty cool. Well, next up, this one kind of came out of nowhere yesterday too. 343 provided that Primus Halo Infinite top level update that basically is an article on the Halo Waypoint website that goes over numerous interviews with some of the team members, as well as an update to the release window of Halo Infinite fall 2021, as you kind of alluded to in the show intro. I know you said in the intro you're okay with it, but are you really okay with it, Sean? Is fall 2021 too far away?
When am I supposed to play this game now? Look at all the things that we've been talking about so far. How in the world am I going to like actually put any dedicated time into Halo at the moment? I feel like this problem is only going to get worse as time goes on, but I have more than enough to do at the moment. And I am encouraged by like some of the screenshots, and I don't typically get kind of wowed by screenshots, but it does seem like things have been updated and they are getting updated. They're taking the feedback to heart, as I think they've mentioned. The article is very long, by the way. I don't know. It's like a 10,000 word
There's a lot of info in
dissertation.
There, but a lot of it's
Yeah. They're definitely looking at improving a lot of the different shaders and the lighting, and the art style honestly looks like it's being updated even more than what they're able to describe at this point. What I'm seeing is actually more than what I'm reading, if that makes any sense. The one thing that I thought that they did well to do is to address Craig and the deadpan look. And it totally makes sense. They said this was a slice of the game that was still in development, where the enemies were animated or created without animating their face yet. They all had deadpan, just a single kind of like face, and it was never meant to be freeze framed like that. But of course, the internet found a way to see Craig in this, like, he was never going to be animated in that version of the game that they showed, which I think just overall, Ryan, just goes to show that maybe you just don't show it at that point. Maybe like it's really tough, like, because games have to be shown at a certain point, but it seemed like it was coming in hot anyways, is kind of my read on it. And I am super fine with them delaying it a full year if it means that game is going to look great, it's going to play great, and they're just able to kind of land this thing properly. I am perfectly fine with it. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm in the same boat where honestly, I'm like you. I'm actually kind of glad it didn't come out this year because we had so many huge open world games this year in particular, and Halo Infinite looks to be a giant open world game too. Like, I'm okay with waiting on this one.
Yeah,
I mean,
Halo.
Yes, it would have been
Halo and Assassin's Creed. They can take turns from now on. They don't have to.
Definitely.
We don't want an Assassin's Creed and a Halo at the same time.
And this sets up the perfect scenario that I was kind of speculating a little bit on Twitter when this announcement happened. I mean, it's just perfect for this game to launch on November 15th, 2021, to mark exactly 20 years after the release of the original Xbox and Combat Evolved.
And
like, that's the
Bonnie
perfect
Ross
narrative.
mentioned that as well. She sort of alluded to that in a tweet. Bonnie Ross, I don't know, she's studio head or creative director or something at 343.
Yeah. So I'm suspecting that unless they tell me otherwise, that's going to be the release
think
date.
that's
It's
definitely
probably
the release date. That's kind of what I'm getting at by her tweet.
The only weird thing about that release date would be it would be a Monday, but for Halo and for making it like release the same day with the anniversary, like I think they'll do it.
I think that's good. That's better.
Unless it releases sooner. But I'm also interested to see if they do a beta over the summer this year.
I was just gonna say that this delay, this full year, does allow us a bit more of a like a marketing hype to work up towards. We can have maybe even an E3 showing. Like I honestly, like, looking back, you go, it never really got the hype level that it could have gotten. Like with the time that they allowed themselves to show, like, this is the first time you're seeing Halo, to the point in time where it was supposed to release. Like, it was a matter of weeks, like double digit, like maybe 12 weeks or something tops.
Yeah.
And I want a little bit more than that, man. I want to learn more about it. I want to hear more about the development. We now know what this game is, and they can feed the hype train for a little while longer this time.
For sure. Well, next up, speaking of hype trains, Gears 5's single-player expansion, Hivebusters, which we knew about a couple months ago, will finally launch on December 15th, and it will be a free update for all Game Pass users. For those without Game Pass, of course, it will be available for $19.99 or as part of the Gears 5 Game of the Year edition. That includes the base game and the expansion. But if you got Game Pass,
just get Game Pass. It's such a no-brainer. They make this like $20 for the game by itself or $15 for a month of Game Pass. It's like, just get Game Pass, man. It's a 3-hour story mission, right? Or story campaign that kind of goes behind what Escape is all about. Like, what is this? What was the squad called? I'm forgetting the something squad.
I don't remember either.
Oh man, dang it. Well, it had it in the notes, but somewhere in there in the article, something squad of Mac and the team there, the Irish dude who yells a lot. And what are they trying to do by infiltrating the hives? I am so intrigued to play this, and I hope that you and I will be able to play it. I'll definitely be streaming this very soon. And again, good thing Halo isn't out, because I want to be playing this. And Gears 5 is it's a great example of the power to show off and showcase the power of the Series X. I feel like this maybe is like a little bit too late. It would have been great to have this on day one with Series X. Would have been awesome to go, let's just jump into this new Gears 5 mode. But it's a little late, but that's okay. We'll jump into it, and I'm excited about it for it. How about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I had told you before when you had asked if I was going to check out Gears 5 when I got my Series X, and I told you I was going to wait for the DLC. So, I mean, this is the perfect time for me to jump in. December 15th, when there's not a lot of games, even though Cyberpunk's literally out today, the day that people are listening to this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, yeah, like, I'm really excited to play this, and it'll give me a reason to play Gears 5, because, again, I haven't touched it since I finished the game, since I played multiplayer earlier this year. I was about to say since I finished the campaign, but actually I've played multiplayer since then.
Yeah,
but,
no, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. And last thing before we move to the carpool, and we have to talk about this one because we're both Canadians and you live in Edmonton, so I mean, this kind of hits
I know.
home. EA have announced that both Mark Darrah, who is the lead on the Dragon Age series, and Casey Hudson, who was the lead on Anthem, have both left BioWare. They didn't really talk about specifics as to why they left the company or further plans. They did kind of mention some of the shifts in who's going to be overseeing Dragon Age at this point. Also, they mentioned as part of this announcement that Dragon Age is actually getting a trailer tonight at the Game Awards.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Somehow.
Well, didn't they go in last year? And it was a trailer technically, but it was like, I mean, come on. Well, I want to see something of substance.
Yeah, it was literally like a CG trailer with a monologue over like some paintings.
It was like illustrations. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I think, so I'm really interested to see about what's happening with that. But what do you think about both Mark and Casey leaving BioWare? I mean, they've been there forever.
That's awful. That's gutting, man. Those guys are critical, and I think there's only a few other people. I think Mike Laidlaw was another recent departure as well. Like these creative minds and the writers behind it, the driving forces behind these massive IPs for the studio, like really what they're known for. I don't know. I don't like to get into like doomsday territory, but this is huge. I would love to know what the hell is going on over there and what the direction is. They did a lot of fluff, I think, in the communication to say like there is the Mass Effect Legendary Edition kind of coming out, and Dragon Age is still going to continue on. But like, how far along is Dragon Age? Maybe we'll get a sense of that with the reveal at the Game Awards of, is this coming out in 2021? Is it 2025? Like, you could tell me either one and I would believe you. And I don't know. All I want. Number one, I want these guys to be happy in their careers. I think they've all been in their careers and in their place for a very, very long time. So there may be like this culmination of things happening where you have everybody evaluating their lives while in this pandemic. And in Edmonton is particularly kind of stressing because it's so cold outside. There's nothing to do. You're just trapped in your house. So yeah, man, I hope that these franchises are in a good place and the development is continuing on. But I don't think it is. Like, that's the worry about it is I don't know that how can it be? But the positive side of me does think about these are these are teams of dozens, if not hundreds, of people who work on this, and it does take more than just a single person to pull it all together. So I'm hopeful for that. But goodness gracious, man, Bioware has been in rough shape for years now, and how the mighty have fallen in this case.
Yeah. Also, you forgot to mention too, Anthem 2.0 is still happening too.
I mean,
So
is it though? Like, is it?
They claim it is. They wrote a blog post about it 2 weeks ago.
What a redemption that would be, though. Like, that would be that would be incredible and similar to, of course, No Man's Sky. If they've got a couple of opportunities, I would say, for redemption. They can put out a great Dragon Age game. They can have Anthem do a complete 180 and turn itself around and show us something that we can be interested in with Mass Effect. A direction of the next game would be great. And so there's opportunity, but man, I think generally faith in this studio is faltering, and I'm a hometown fan, so that's kind of where I'm at.
Just like I'm in the same boat as you, where I feel the same way, and BioWare is my favorite third-party studio.
Yeah.
Like, I love their games, and even their games that don't work out, like, there's always something that I at least love in each one of their games. So, yeah, I honestly really want to see them succeed as well. Like, I also kind of miss the days, though, where BioWare kind of took chances on different things as well, or did a bunch of different IPs. I think part of this system kind of falling apart is when they kind of settled into just doing Dragon Age and Mass Effect. Like, I missed the days where they were taking chances on KOTOR,
Anthem was a pretty big chance.
Or Jade Empire. Yeah, like Anthem, that was their one time where they've done that in recent memory. And yes, it didn't work out well, but I think part of that is also this, everyone's trying to chase the game as service dream.
Most
and
definitely.
Not every studio needs to do that, you know?
The thing about the people who leave the studio, which I think has always made BioWare stand out and have a competitive edge, is like they had doctors found the studio, and so they brought a certain approach to Dungeons and Dragons and Baldur's Gate that like nobody was really able to do. And then when they came to Mass Effect, they were able to bring like the save states that brought like one game to the next, and so it was like homegrown. The talent and the features they brought to their games was from within, instead of, to your point with Anthem, like definitely chasing an industry trend instead of creating something brand new we've never seen before. And that's why, like, I'm not just a hometown fan because they're here. It's like they were completely in their league of their own, and I need to see that kind of from them again with Dragon Age. It's more than just the story and the world that they create with that. It's like, I want to see a new way to engage and play with this game in addition to. So it's a very high bar that they've set for themselves, but that's BioWare for me.
Yeah, for sure. Anyways, we gotta roll, and we gotta let some of our friends into the car with us.
Questions, good.
Yeah, because we only got like 5 minutes left. We got to get to some of these. So we're gonna start with Seumas MacIsaac at Famous Seumas. He asks, with the Christmas season now in full swing, what are some games that you would put? What are some games that put you in the holiday spirit? I can't read. Also, what is your favorite holiday memory involving gaming? So first of all, is there any games that really get you into the holiday spirit, Sean? Because for me, there aren't really any, because I mean, I don't typically play a specific type of game, or just other than just playing lots of games over Christmas. There's not really a game that gets me in the holiday spirit. But what about you, my friend?
You know, funny enough, I agree. It's not like I've got like a selection of holiday games that I go through. But Fury is one that I have. I'll talk about two games that bring back holiday memories. Fury was one that I was visiting with family over Christmas a number of years ago, and I was looking for a multiplayer game, oddly enough, to play with my brother who was visiting from Vancouver. And I was like, I saw Fury on my PlayStation. And I didn't know anything about it. I just fired it up because it was on PS Plus, and it turns out it wasn't a game that I could play with my brother. But I was by myself, at probably 1 a.m, and I stayed up until 4 a.m. playing this game because I was instantly addicted to it. And it was at my parents' house, which kind of always adds to like the Christmas and holiday spirit. You feel like a kid again, like in that same room on the like same couch playing games. So bringing back a lot of memories with that one. And then a weird one. Again, none of these are Xbox related. Bloodborne was a game that I played the year that it came out, put off until that Christmas. And because of Christmas, I had additional time off, and I put probably 8 hours in a single day, which is very rare for me, but I was able to put about 8 hours into Bloodborne, and it finally clicked. And that memory, like, and my love for that game is directly linked to Christmas time, because I was able to put that much time into it and have things finally click into place and appreciate like that game and then the entire genre, like the Soulsborne kind of genre of games. So yeah, and just like you, I look forward to the additional time to play games. And if anything, multiplayer is the genre. I want to play games with people around Christmas.
Yeah, very nice, my friend. Yeah, for me, like the one holiday memory I'll throw out there, I've mentioned this, I think, on the Call of Duty 2 episode of The Roundabout, going all the way back when we talked about that. But basically, whenever for Boxing Day sales here in Canada, which is the day after Christmas, for those that don't know it in the States, it was kind of like our Black Friday. So my cousin Andrew, who would always come over and play video games with me, we would always play Xbox together. And we decided that on Christmas, after the Christmas celebrations happened, we would play Call of Duty 2 on Veteran through the entire game to stay up all night so we could go stand in boxing late lines.
That's awesome.
We actually managed to finish the game from start to finish on Veteran in Call of Duty 2, just passing the controller back and forth. And I mean, I'll never forget that memory of us just staying up all night and then going to Boxing Day, getting a bunch of games, and then coming back and playing some 360 games. So yeah, that was really special for me. But let's move on. We got Dallas Ford via YouTube. He asks, aside from some of the must-have Halo collection games, what games would you recommend for first-time Xbox users, even if they are older games that are must-plays? And I already know probably where you're going to go with this. Sean, Gears, I'm guessing?
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm curious to know where you go. I feel like I could give a different answer every single week, but I'm definitely curious on what your thoughts are on this.
So, for a starting user, I really think it just depends on your type of genre and what type of games you've played before on other consoles. For a starting Xbox user, I think that you should at least experiment a little bit with 360 and original Xbox games. And actually, I think that if you've never played some of the games that I put in the top 10 of the Roundabout, for example, like I think those are all great games to start with, like Halo 3, Mass Effect 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, good one.
BioShock. Again, some of those games are third-party games, but some of them are exclusives.
Yeah.
And like Gears, like the original trilogy, you should play those, or even Gears 5. You should definitely pick that up. But I mean, for the most part, you should also maybe check out games if you're interested in even going way further back. A game like Ninja Gaiden Black, which was the perfect game for the original Xbox. It's one of the best action games ever made, and it still holds up very well today. It got X enhancements, so if you have a new console, it looks amazing in 4K, and it is definitely a game worth revisiting. But yeah, otherwise, Sunset Overdrive is another game I should throw in there as well. If you have an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X, you should definitely check that out. But yeah, that's what I think about
I'll throw out one. I agree with every single one of those. Well, actually, I'll go throw two, because definitely I've got to say Forza Horizon 3 or 4. If you can get your hands on 3, it's excellent. 4 is what's available on Game Pass. And a lot of people loving Control these days by Remedy. I think if you liked Control and if you've played it, go back and play Quantum Break, man. Quantum Break is really good. Yes. And it's now outside of this bubble where it was like, I don't know if it was supposed to save the Xbox brand or really carry it for that point in time. But without that pressure, without that expectation that it was going to do that, I think Quantum Break is a quality game that is on Game Pass that people should check out.
That's a really good one. I didn't even think about that one. But yes, Quantum Break's a really fun game if you've never played it. And it is exclusive to Xbox. So it is certainly worth checking out. We're going to blow through these last two really quickly. We're going to start with Todd Oxtra at Toxtra. He asks, was it a mistake not to purchase Remedy considering how many people associate their games with Xbox and Control was a Game of the Year winner at some outlets when it could have been Xbox exclusive? Do you think Xbox should have bought Remedy at all, Sean?
I'm torn on this one. I see where I feel like they've got potential. They would have been buying them on the merit of potential, but like based on what happened with Quantum Break, which was mainly I think disappointment, and I think only recently has Control. Actually, I think they just announced that they've sold 2 million copies. Have they found some success? I think it wasn't a catastrophic mistake. I think it would be cool to have them in their catalog, but I'm not one that has ever really celebrated Alan Wake all that much. I'm not I don't know, call me a fake Xbox fan or whatever. I'm not a huge Alan Wake fan. I think you're a bigger Alan Wake fan than me, and many people are. But I don't know. I think it's fine. But I think to Todd's point, a lot of people do associate them with Xbox. So maybe I wouldn't call it as far as a mistake, but maybe just a miss.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think that it might have been the smartest move because their games typically don't sell too well. But having them as a quality developer on having their games come to Game Pass day and date, I think that would have been a win probably for Microsoft.
I just think like there's this weird thing that happens sometimes with studios. And I think Moon Studios is experiencing the exact same thing where games that are exclusive to Xbox just somehow don't get like the celebration that they deserve. Like, Ori is one of the best games ever made, and like Quantum Break, just as I mentioned, I think is a very, very good game. But because they were associated with Xbox at a bad time, it's like I don't know, they just don't get the praise and the recognition and the prestige that they deserve. So that maybe it's better for that maybe it's better actually for Remedy to just kind of like go third party and sell their things on as many platforms as possible.
For sure. Last question from Console Caito at Console Caito. She asks, are you guys getting any games or accessories for Christmas? If so, what? I mean, I typically don't get gifts for Christmas, and I'm actually probably not going to buy any games for myself for Christmas. I mean, I bought some stuff for Black Friday, but I didn't really, there's no other games I really kind of want right now. But what about you, Sean? Are you buying anything for yourself for Christmas?
Well, what's on my wish list is actually a bunch of PlayStation 4 games that because PlayStation believes in generations, I'm going to get a bunch of games that people are playing on PlayStation 5. I'm going to play them on PS4, like Sackboy and Miles Morales and maybe a few others, but or Bugsnax, probably those ones. But everything else I get on Xbox is like you don't have to buy or ask for games for Christmas. You just get Game Pass. So that's kind of what's on my wish list. There's Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity is also on my wish list for Christmas, so some Switch games as well. But otherwise, yeah, if they release a damn joystick, I would want a joystick on Xbox, Ryan Turford.
Very nice. Anyways, we got to go, but before we go,
right.
Sean, plug together.
Well, this has been fun, man. You can find me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. And if you like the show, you can support us at patreon.com/Yumi Capri, where you get the show early. You get the Pants Patreon podcast for Patrons Podcast and a bunch of other perks at patreon.com/Yumi Capri.
As for me, you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. That's TURFORD. You also find us on Twitter at The Xbox Drive or on YouTube at youtube.com/The Xbox Drive. We're on podcast services around the globe. So for Sean Capri, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been episode 170 of The Xbox Drive, and we out.
Play Halo with us on Saturdays, you cowards! Ball!